Captain Dalsu's shuttle raced back to the Imperial fleet. His hand shook as he piloted the small craft through space. Behind him, the Eternal Defiance waited like a sleeping monster. Admiral Kyung-ho stood on the bridge of his flagship, watching the shuttle approach. His face showed no emotion, but inside he was angry. The humans had kept his officer for 3 hours. 3 hours of lost time while the enemy prepared. Admiral, Commander So-young reported. All ships are in position. We have them surrounded. Good. As soon as Captain Dalsu is aboard, we attack. The shuttle landed in the ship's bay. Dalsu ran to the bridge as fast as he could. When he arrived, he was breathing hard and his face was pale. Report, Admiral Kyung-ho commanded. Sir, we cannot fight them. Their technology is beyond anything we have. They knew our battle plans before we made them. Captain! The Admiral's voice cut through the bridge like a blade. Control yourself. Tell me what you saw. Dalsu took a deep breath. The ship is a mobile city, sir. 50,000 humans. Their weapons, I've never seen anything like them. They claim they can destroy our entire fleet. 50,000 people against 200 warships? Admiral Kyung-ho laughed. Captain, I think the humans scared you with lies and tricks. Sir, please. We should contact the Emperor, ask for more ships, study their technology before we... Enough. The Admiral turned to face his crew. The Empire has ruled this galaxy for 3 centuries. We didn't become the strongest force by running from battles. All ships prepare to fire. Dalsu wanted to argue more, but he could see it was useless. Admiral Kyung-ho had never lost a battle. He couldn't imagine losing one now. On the Eternal Defiance, Commander Jiwoo watched the Imperial ships move into attack position. Lieutenant Boram stood beside her, studying the enemy formation. They're using Standard Formation 7, Boram reported. Just like the computer predicted. Of course they are, Jiwoo replied. The Empire hasn't changed their tactics in 200 years. Dr. Minho, are you ready? The scientist looked up from his station. All systems ready, Commander. Should I deploy the specimens? Not yet. Let them fire first. I want them to understand how helpless they are. Chief Engineer Taman checked his instruments. Shields at maximum power. Weapons charged. All fighter squadrons ready to launch. Jiwoo nodded. Around her, the bridge was calm. 50,000 humans had waited 3 centuries for this moment. They were ready. Incoming transmission, Boram announced. Admiral Kyung-ho's face appeared on the main screen. His cold eyes stared at Jiwoo across the emptiness of space. Human Commander, I am Admiral Kyung-ho of the 3rd Imperial Fleet. You will surrender immediately or be destroyed. Admiral, Jiwoo replied, her voice calm. You have one chance to save your people. Order your ships to withdraw. I have 200 ships. You have one. Surrender now and I promise your people will be treated fairly. Jiwoo almost smiled. Admiral, your ships are 300 years out of date. Your weapons can't hurt us. Your shields can't stop us. If you attack, I will destroy your entire fleet. Impossible, Kyung-ho snapped. No single ship can stand against the Imperial Navy. You're about to learn differently. The Admiral's face disappeared from the screen. A moment later, Boram reported, all Imperial ships powering weapons. Let them, Jiwoo said. The Imperial fleet opened fire together. 200 ships unleashed everything they had. Energy beams that could destroy cities. Missiles that could crack planets. Enough firepower to burn entire star systems. All of it struck the Eternal Defiance at the same moment. The human ship's shields flared bright blue. Energy coursed around the hull like lightning. For a few seconds, the ship was hidden inside a ball of pure destruction. Then the light faded. The Eternal Defiance hung in space, completely undamaged. Impossible, Admiral Kyung-ho whispered. On the human ship, Taman checked his readings. Shields down to 98%. All systems normal. Their entire fleet barely scratched our paint, Boram said with satisfaction. Jiwoo's voice carried across all radio frequencies. Every ship in the Imperial fleet heard her words. You had your chance, Admiral. Now you'll see what 300 years of human engineering can do. The Eternal Defiance began to move. Not slowly like most large ships, but fast as a fighter craft. It spun through space like a dancer, dodging Imperial fire with impossible grace. Weapons emerged from its hull. Not the simple energy cannons the Empire used, but devices that bent reality itself. When they fired, space twisted and writhed. The first shots hit 3 Imperial ships. The vessels didn't explode. They simply stopped existing. One moment they were there, the next moment there was empty space. What happened to those ships? Dalsu asked, his voice shaking. I don't know, Admiral Kyung-ho replied. His confident mask was beginning to crack. More weapons fired from the human ship. These looked like energy beams, but they passed through Imperial shields like they weren't there. When they hit ship hulls, the metal became liquid and flowed away into space. All ships concentrate fire on the enemy, Kyung-ho ordered. But the Imperial ships couldn't hit their target. The Eternal Defiance moved too fast, turned too quickly. It was like trying to shoot a ghost. Then the human ship launched its fighters. They came out in swarms, hundreds of small craft that moved faster than anything the Empire had ever seen. They didn't follow normal flight patterns. Some seemed to teleport from place to place. Others phased through solid matter. Pilot Jae-hyun was the Empire's best fighter pilot. He had shot down over 100 enemy craft in his career, but when he tried to target the human fighters, his weapons couldn't lock on. They're moving faster than light, he reported over the radio. In normal space. That should be impossible. One of the human fighters appeared directly in front of him. Before he could react, it fired a single shot. His ship's systems shut down completely. He was alive but helpless, drifting in space. All around the battle area, the same thing was happening. Imperial fighters were being disabled without being destroyed. The humans weren't trying to kill the pilots. They were trying to capture them. Admiral Kyung-ho watched his fleet fall apart. Ships were being destroyed or disabled faster than he could count. In 10 minutes, he had lost 50 vessels. How is this possible? Commander So-young asked. I don't know, the admiral admitted. His voice was hollow, defeated. Order all ships to retreat, but it was too late for retreat. The human ship was everywhere at once, cutting off escape routes. Its weapons reached across impossible distances, striking ships that should have been out of range. Commander Yeonwoo led the human boarding parties. Her Marines wore armor that shifted and flowed like liquid metal. When Imperial weapons hit them, the energy was absorbed and reflected back at the attackers. They moved through Imperial ships like ghosts, passing through walls and doors. Imperial soldiers tried to fight them, but their weapons did nothing. The human Marines stunned the crew members and moved on, taking control of ship after ship. Dr. Min-ho watched from his laboratory as captured Imperial soldiers were brought aboard the Eternal Defiance. He studied them carefully, learning about their biology, their psychology, their fears. Fascinating, he murmured. 3 centuries of easy victory have made them weak. They don't know how to fight a real enemy. The battle lasted 47 minutes. When it ended, the 3rd Imperial Fleet was gone. Some ships were destroyed, others were captured. A few managed to escape, but only because the humans let them go. Captain Dalsu's ship was one of the survivors. He sat on his bridge, staring at the destruction around him. Bodies of ships floated in space. The pride of the Imperial Navy had been crushed like insects. Send a message to the capital, he whispered. Tell them the humans have returned, and they're not the same species we destroyed 3 centuries ago. Admiral Kyung-ho was captured when his flagship was boarded. As human Marines led him away, he looked back at Commander Ji-woo. What are you? He asked. We're what you made us, she replied. 300 years of rage focused into a single purpose. You killed our world, Admiral. Now we're going to free yours. The alarm bells rang across the bridge of the Imperial dreadnought Crimson Fang. Admiral Kyung-ho stood with his hands behind his back, watching the star charts with cold eyes. His dark uniform showed the golden medals of 100 victories. For 20 years, he had crushed rebellions across the galaxy. No enemy had ever escaped his fleet. Report, Kyung-ho said in his deep voice. Captain Dalsu hurried forward, his young face pale with worry. Sir, our long-range sensors are picking up something strange. There's an energy signal coming from the edge of our space. Kyung-ho turned slowly. His gray eyes looked at the younger officer. What kind of signal? It's old, sir, very old. The computer says it's almost 300 years old. Dalsu's hand shook as he held the datapad. But sir, that's impossible. Nothing that old should still be working. The Admiral walked to the main display screen. Green lines showed the borders of the Galactic Dominion Empire. It stretched across 800 star systems. For 3 centuries, the Empire had ruled with an iron fist. They had destroyed every enemy, enslaved every useful species, and wiped out the rest. Show me, Kyung-ho commanded. The screen changed. A red dot appeared at the very edge of their territory. Numbers flashed beside it, showing energy readings that made no sense. Dr. Haewon stepped forward from her station. The old woman had spent her life studying dead civilizations. Her white hair was pulled back tight, and her sharp eyes studied the data. "Admiral, these energy patterns. I've seen them before." "Where?" "In the old archives. From before the Great Purge." She paused, her voice dropping to a whisper. "These are human energy signatures." The bridge went silent. Every officer turned to stare at her. Captain Dalsu dropped his datapad. Kyung-ho's face showed no emotion, but his voice grew colder. "That's impossible. We destroyed the humans almost 300 years ago. Earth is gone. Their colonies are ash. There are no humans left in this galaxy." Dr. Haywan nodded quickly. "Yes, sir." "Of course, sir. But the energy patterns match exactly. The computer has run the comparison 15 times. The Admiral studied the screen again. The red dot pulsed like a heartbeat. Something deep in space was sending out signals that should not exist. "It's probably just sensor ghosts," Kyung-ho said finally. "Old equipment breaks down. Space radiation can create false readings, but Captain Dalsu could not let it go. He had studied at the Imperial Academy. He knew their sensors were the best in the galaxy." "Sir, what if it's not a false reading? What if something is really out there?" Kyung-ho's eyes flashed with anger. "Captain, I will not have wild theories on my bridge. The humans are extinct. We made sure of that." "Yes, sir." Dalsu bowed his head, but his eyes stayed on the screen. Hours passed. The bridge crew worked at their stations, but everyone kept glancing at the display. The red dot grew brighter. The energy readings grew stronger. Commander So Young entered the bridge. She was the Admiral's chief advisor, a woman who had fought in more battles than anyone else in the fleet. Her scarred face showed the price of victory. "Admiral," she said quietly, "I've been reviewing the data. This signal is moving." Kyung-ho turned sharply. "Moving?" "Yes, sir. It's coming through hyperspace. Whatever it is, it's heading toward our core systems." Dr. Haywan checked her instruments again. "The speed is incredible. No ship in our fleet can move that fast through hyperspace." The Admiral's jaw tightened. In all his years of command, nothing had challenged the Empire's technology. Their ships were the fastest, their weapons the strongest, their shields the best. How could something move faster than their best vessels? "How long until it reaches our territory?" he asked. Commander So Young studied her calculations. "At current speed, 18 hours. Size? Unknown. The readings are strange. The computer can't get a clear measurement." Captain Dalsu spoke up again, his voice careful. "Sir, should we alert the other fleets? If this is some kind of new enemy?" "No." Kyung-ho's voice cut through the bridge like a blade. "We will handle this ourselves. Prepare the Third Fleet for departure." "The entire Third Fleet, sir?" Commander So Young asked. "That's 200 ships." "Yes. If there is an enemy out there, they will learn why the Empire has ruled for 3 centuries. The bridge buzzed with activity. Officers sent orders across the comm system. Throughout the fleet, captains received their commands. Ship after ship powered up their engines and weapons. Dr. Haywan continued studying the energy patterns. Something bothered her about the readings. They were too clean, too perfect. Most old technology fell apart over time, but these signals were as strong as if they had been made yesterday. She thought about the old records from before the Great Purge. The humans had been a young species, barely reaching the stars when the Empire found them. Their technology was primitive, their ships slow and weak. The Empire had destroyed them easily. But what if some humans had escaped? What if they had been building and planning for 3 centuries? "Admiral," she said softly, "what if the humans didn't all die?" Kyung-ho turned to her with cold fury. "Doctor, I was there during the Great Purge. I saw Earth burn. I watched their colonies turn to glass. Every human world was destroyed. Every human ship was hunted down. There are no survivors. But sir, what if—" "Enough." His voice echoed across the bridge. "I will not hear any more theories about dead humans. Focus on your instruments." Dr. Haywan nodded and turned back to her station, but her hands shook as she worked. The energy patterns were getting stronger by the hour. Whatever was coming toward them was massive and powerful. Captain Dalsu watched the red dot on the screen. In 18 hours they would have answers. He hoped they would be ready for what they found. The Third Fleet moved into formation. 200 warships, the pride of the Empire, prepared to face the unknown. Admiral Kyung-ho stood on his bridge, confident in his power. He had no idea that his perfect record was about to be shattered forever. Deep in the cold darkness of space, something ancient was waking up. The massive ship had drifted for almost 300 years. Its black hull stretched 15 kilometers from front to back. Strange symbols covered its sides, human writing that no one in the Empire could read anymore. The ship's name was carved into the metal, Eternal Defiance. Inside the ship, lights began to flicker on. Computer systems that had slept for centuries started to hum with life. In the deepest part of the vessel, 50,000 humans lay in crystal chambers, frozen in time. Commander Jiwoo opened her eyes. The lid of her chamber hissed open and cold air rushed across her face. She sat up slowly, her muscles stiff from the long sleep. Her short black hair was gray at the edges now. The freezing process had slowed her aging, but not stopped it completely. "Status report," she said, her voice rough from years of silence. A soft blue light appeared in front of her. It was the ship's computer, an artificial mind that had watched over them during their long journey. "Commander, we have reached the target coordinates. All crew members are beginning the wake-up process. Ship systems are at full power." Jiwoo stepped out of her chamber and looked around. Thousands of other chambers filled the huge room. One by one, their lids were opening. Her people were coming back to life. Lieutenant Boram was the first to join her. The younger woman had been Jiwoo's second-in-command when they left Earth. Now she looked older, tired from the long sleep. "How long?" Boram asked. 298 years, 4 months, 16 days. The computer answered. Boram closed her eyes. "Our families. Everyone we knew." "They're gone," Jiwoo said quietly. "We knew that when we left. Earth was dying when our ship launched. The Empire was already attacking our colonies. More crew members were waking up now." Chief Engineer Taimin stumbled toward them, his beard white as snow. Behind him came hundreds of others, soldiers, scientists, workers, and civilians, all that remained of humanity. "Computer, show me what happened to our galaxy," Jiwoo commanded. The blue light grew brighter and images filled the air around them. Star maps showed the Empire's growth over 3 centuries. Red markers showed where human colonies had been. Every single one was marked as destroyed. "Earth?" Jiwoo asked, though she already knew the answer. Earth was destroyed in the year 2089. The Empire used planet-killer weapons. Nothing survived. The room fell silent. Even though they had expected this news, hearing it still hurt. Their home world, the birthplace of humanity, was gone forever. But then the computer showed them something else. "However, Commander, our mission remains unchanged. Before Earth's destruction, 12 colony ships and 7 warships were launched. The Eternal Defiance was the largest and most advanced." Taimin wiped tears from his eyes. "What about the other ships?" "Unknown. Long-range sensors detect no human signals in this galaxy." Jiwoo's face hardened. "Then we are the last. Show me the current state of the Empire." New images appeared. The Galactic Dominion Empire now controlled 847 star systems. They had enslaved dozens of alien species. Billions of innocent beings lived under their cruel rule. "They think they won," Boram said, anger growing in her voice. "Let them think that," Jiwoo replied. "Computer, status of our weapons and defenses?" "All systems operational. Weapons have been improved during our journey according to pre-programmed instructions. Shield technology has been upgraded. We are ready for combat." During their long sleep, the ship's computers had been busy. Using stored knowledge and automated factories, they had built new weapons and improved old ones. The Eternal Defiance was now more powerful than when it left Earth. Jiwoo walked to the command center, her crew following behind her. The bridge was huge with hundreds of workstations. Screens showed space around them, empty except for distant stars. "How far are we from Empire territory?" she asked. 16 hours at current speed. Our long-range sensors show a large fleet moving toward our position." "How large?" 200 ships. They appear to be investigating our arrival." Taimin laughed, but there was no humor in it. 200 ships to investigate one vessel. They're being careful. "They should be more careful," Jiwoo said. She turned to Boram. What do we know about current Empire military capabilities? Boram checked her instruments. Their technology has improved, but not by much. Their ships are bigger than when we left, but still use the same basic designs. Their weapons appear to be similar to what we faced 300 years ago. And our weapons? Far superior. We spent 3 centuries planning for this moment. Every system on this ship has been designed for one purpose: destroying the Empire. Jiwoo nodded. For almost 300 years, 50,000 humans had slept while their ship traveled through the darkness, but the ship itself had never stopped working. Its computers had designed new weapons, new shields, new ways to fight. "Commander," said a voice behind her. She turned to see Dr. Min-ho, the ship's head scientist. He was a thin man with bright eyes who had spent his life studying alien biology. "What is it, Doctor?" "I've been reviewing the data we collected before leaving Earth. The Empire has enslaved many species since then. If we can free them, they could become our allies," Jiwoo finished. "Good thinking. How many enslaved species?" "At least 47 different kinds of aliens. Some have been slaves for over 2 centuries. Boram looked up from her station. "Commander, the Empire fleet is getting closer. They're sending communication signals." "Let them talk," Jiwoo said. "But don't answer yet. Let them wonder what they're facing." She walked to the main viewing screen. Through the darkness of space, she could see tiny lights in the distance. The Empire fleet, coming to investigate what they thought was a single lost ship. "They have no idea what's coming," Taemin said quietly. "No," Jiwoo agreed. "They think humans are extinct. They think they're safe. They've grown soft from 3 centuries of easy victories." She turned to address her crew. Thousands of humans had gathered on the bridge and in the corridors. They looked at her with hope and anger and determination. "My friends," she began, "we have slept for 3 centuries. We have crossed the galaxy while our enemies grew comfortable. They destroyed our world, killed our families, and thought they had won forever." The crew listened in silence. "But we are still here. We are the last children of Earth, and we carry the memory of everyone who died. Today we begin to collect the debt the Empire owes us." A cheer rose from the crowd. 300 years of grief and rage filled their voices. "Prepare for battle," Jiwoo commanded. "It's time to remind the galaxy that humanity is not so easy to kill." Emperor Wu Jin sat on his crystal throne, staring at the message that had just arrived. His palace on the capital world was built from the bones of conquered planets. Golden walls showed the Empire's victories over 3 centuries, but today those victories felt very far away. "Play it again," he commanded. The message filled the air in front of him. A human woman appeared wearing a black uniform with strange symbols. Her dark eyes were cold as space itself. "Citizens of the galaxy," the woman said, "I am Commander Jiwoo of the Earth vessel Eternal Defiance. For 300 years you have lived under the lies of the Galactic Dominion Empire. They told you that humanity was destroyed, that we were weak and primitive." Emperor Wu Jin's hands gripped his throne tighter. "They were wrong," Jiwoo continued. "We survived. We planned. We prepared. Today we return to reclaim what was stolen from us and to free every enslaved species in this galaxy." The message showed images of destroyed human colonies, burning cities, dead children. Then it showed the Empire's crimes against other species. Whole worlds enslaved, entire civilizations wiped out. The Empire will surrender immediately or face the consequences. You have 24 hours to respond. The message ended. Emperor Wu Jin sat in silence for a long moment. General So Young entered the throne room. The old soldier had served the Empire for 60 years. Her uniform was covered with medals from countless battles. "Your Majesty, our fleets are in position. Admiral Kyung-ho has reached the human ship."
He reports that it is
"Larger than expected." "How much larger?" 15 kilometers long, Your Majesty. Bigger than any ship in our fleet." The Emperor stood up from his throne. He was old now, over 90 years, but his mind was still sharp. "One ship. No matter how big, it's still just one ship against our entire fleet." "Yes, Your Majesty. But the energy readings are strange. Our scientists can't understand their technology." General So Young activated a hologram showing the human ship. It was a dark mountain in space covered with weapons and armor. Strange lights pulsed along its hull. "It's broadcasting on all frequencies," she continued. Not just to us, but to every world in the Empire. The message is being heard by billions of people. Emperor Wu Jin's face grew red with anger. Then we stop it. Order Admiral Kyung-ho to destroy that ship immediately. Sir, he's requesting permission to try negotiations first. Perhaps we can learn something about their technology before. No negotiations, the Emperor shouted. I watched the humans die 3 centuries ago. I will not let this ghost ship threaten my empire. Far away in space, Captain Dalsu received new orders from the capital. He was to board the human ship and try to talk to them. Admiral Kyung-ho had chosen him because he was young and might seem less threatening. Dalsu's shuttle approached the Eternal Defiance slowly. The closer he got, the more afraid he became. The ship was huge, bigger than some moons. Weapons pointed out from its hull like the spines of a deadly creature. Unknown shuttle, you may approach, came a voice over the radio. It spoke perfect Imperial language, but with a strange accent. Dalsu's shuttle was pulled into a landing bay. The bay was enormous, big enough to hold 100 Imperial ships, but it was almost empty. Just a few small craft sat in the corners. He stepped out of his shuttle wearing his best diplomatic uniform. A group of humans waited for him. They looked like the people in old history books, but different somehow. Stronger, more dangerous. Lieutenant Boram stepped forward. Captain Dalsu of the Imperial Navy, we've been expecting you. You know my name? We know everything about your fleet. Your ship positions, your weapon types, your battle plans. We've been listening to your communications for hours. Dalsu tried to hide his fear. I come with an offer of negotiation. The Empire is willing to discuss. No, Boram said simply. Come with me. Our commander wants to meet you. They walked through corridors that seemed to go on forever. Dalsu saw thousands of humans working at stations he didn't recognize. Children played in gardens that shouldn't exist on a warship. Old people sat in libraries reading books. This is a city, he whispered. This is all that remains of Earth, Boram replied. 50,000 people. The last humans in the galaxy. They reached the bridge and Dalsu stopped breathing. The room was bigger than the Emperor's throne room. Screens showed data he couldn't understand. Weapons that defied physics. Technology that shouldn't exist. Commander Jiwoo stood in the center of it all. She looked at Dalsu with eyes that had seen too much death. Captain, she said, you're here to demand our surrender. I'm here to offer negotiations, Dalsu replied, trying to sound brave. No, you're not. Your admiral is positioning his fleet to attack us. 200 ships arranged in a standard Imperial formation. He plans to open fire in approximately 37 minutes. Dalsu's heart sank. She was right. Those were exactly Admiral Kyung-ho's plans. How do you know that? Because we've been fighting the Empire for 300 years. We know how you think, how you plan, how you die. Jiwoo walked to a display screen. It showed the Imperial fleet surrounding them like wolves around a deer. Your empire believes it is the strongest force in the galaxy. For 3 centuries, you have faced no real challenge. You've grown comfortable, predictable. We have the largest fleet in galactic history, Dalsu said. You have the largest fleet of outdated ships, Jiwoo corrected. Your technology stopped advancing when you ran out of enemies to steal from. Our technology never stopped improving. She pressed a button and the screen changed. It showed weapon systems that Dalsu had never seen before. Energy readings that broke his understanding of physics. We spent 300 years preparing for this day. Every moment of our long journey was used to plan your destruction. We know every weak point in your ships, every flaw in your tactics. But you're just 50,000 people, Dalsu protested. The Empire has trillions of citizens, millions of ships, and numbers don't matter when you have the right tools, Jiwoo said. One human with the right weapon can destroy 1,000 enemies with the wrong ones. She turned to him, and her voice became almost gentle. Captain, I'm going to show you something. When you return to your ship, you'll report what you've seen. Your admiral won't believe you. He'll attack anyway. What will you show me? The future, Jiwoo said. Your future, if you continue to serve the Empire. The screens around them lit up with new images. Dalsu saw simulations of the coming battle. Imperial ships burning, fleets destroyed in minutes, technology so advanced it seemed like magic. This doesn't have to happen, Jiwoo continued. The Empire can surrender. Your people can live in peace. But if you force us to fight, the simulations showed the Empire's core worlds under attack. Planet after planet freed from Imperial rule, the Emperor's palace in ruins. I won't let my people live as slaves again, Jiwoo said. We've been slaves to grief, slaves to anger, slaves to the need for revenge. Now we're free, and we'll free everyone else too. Dalsu stared at the screens, his mind racing. Everything he had been taught, everything he believed about the Empire's power was crumbling. Your time is up, Captain, Boram said. Return to your ship. Deliver our message. And pray that your admiral is smarter than we think he is. As Dalsu walked back to his shuttle, he knew Admiral Kyung-ho wouldn't listen. The admiral had never lost a battle. He wouldn't believe that one ship could threaten the entire empire. But Dalsu had seen the humans' eyes. He had seen their technology. He had seen their absolute certainty that they would win. The empire was about to learn a lesson it would never forget. The news of Admiral Kyung-ho's defeat spread across the empire like wildfire. On 1,000 worlds, people watched the recordings that Captain Dalsu had brought back. They saw Imperial ships being destroyed by weapons that defied understanding. They saw the mighty Third Fleet reduced to scrap metal in less than an hour. Emperor Wu Jin stood in his war room, surrounded by his best generals and admirals. The holographic display showed the Empire's territory, 847 star systems marked in red. But now there was a black dot moving through them, and wherever it went, the red turned to blue. How many systems have we lost? The Emperor asked. General So Young consulted her datapad. 17 in the past week. The human ship is moving faster than our scouts can track. By the time our fleets arrive, they're already gone. Admiral Sung-ho stepped forward. He was the commander of the First Fleet, the Empire's most elite force. His record was perfect, 300 battles, 300 victories. Your Majesty, let me take the entire First Fleet. 3,000 ships. No single vessel can stand against those numbers. Admiral Kyung-ho had 200 ships, the Emperor replied. They couldn't even scratch the human ship's paint. Kyung-ho was overconfident. He underestimated the enemy. I won't make that mistake. Dr. Young-ae, the Empire's chief scientist, looked up from her instruments. Your Majesty, I've been studying the battle recordings. The human weapons operate on principles we don't understand. They seem to manipulate space and time itself. That's impossible, Admiral Sung-ho said. No technology can control fundamental forces. Tell that to the crews of the destroyed ships, Dr. Young-ae replied. I've run the analysis 15 times. Their weapons exist outside normal physics. Lieutenant Sunmi entered the room carrying urgent reports. Your Majesty, we're receiving communications from the conquered systems. The humans aren't killing civilians. They're freeing enslaved populations and establishing democratic governments. Emperor Wu Jin's face grew dark. They're stealing our labor force. There's more, sir. The freed populations are sending out messages to other worlds. They're telling everyone about the human offer of liberation. The Emperor slammed his fist on the table. For 3 centuries, the Empire had ruled through fear. Now that fear was being replaced by hope, and hope was far more dangerous than any weapon. Status of our other fleets? The 5th Fleet engaged the humans at Nexus 7, General So Young reported. They lasted 18 minutes. The 7th Fleet tried to ambush them at Kepler Station. 14 minutes. How is one ship doing this? Dr. Young-ae pulled up new data. It's not just one ship anymore, Your Majesty. Our long-range sensors have detected other vessels emerging from hyperspace. The humans have a fleet. The holographic display changed. Instead of one black dot, there were now dozens scattered across Imperial space. Each one was systematically destroying military bases and freeing enslaved worlds. Meanwhile, aboard the Eternal Defiance, Commander Jiwoo stood in her expanded bridge. The ship had grown during their campaign. Captured Imperial technology was being integrated into their systems. Freed populations were contributing their knowledge and resources. Lieutenant Boram approached with the latest intelligence reports. Commander, we've identified the locations of all major Imperial military installations. We also have a complete list of enslaved species in their homeworlds. Excellent. How many species have we freed so far? 23 different races. The grateful species are providing us with detailed information about Imperial defenses. Chief Engineer Taemin looked up from his station. Commander, the ship modifications are complete. We now have manufacturing bays that can produce an entire fleet in weeks rather than years. Jiwoo nodded. Begin construction immediately. I want 50 ships ready within the month. Dr. Minho approached from his expanded laboratory. Commander, I've completed my analysis of Imperial psychology. They're beginning to panic. Emperor Wu Jin is mobilizing every available ship for a final confrontation. Where? The Nexus system. It's their military headquarters. All their remaining fleets are gathering there. Jiwoo studied the tactical display. The Nexus system was the heart of Imperial power. It contained their largest shipyards, their main military academy, and the command center that controlled their entire fleet. How many ships? Over 3,000, Commander. Every surviving vessel in the Imperial Navy. Borum whistled softly. That's a lot of firepower even for us, is it? Jiwoo asked. Taemin, status of our new weapons? The engineer smiled. The reality disruptors are online. The quantum phase cannons are ready, and the temporal displacement field is operational. Temporal displacement? We can slow down time around enemy ships while we move at normal speed. To them, we'll appear to be moving impossibly fast. Dr. Minho added, we also have the new neural disruptors. They can shut down organic brains without harming the body. Perfect for capturing crews alive. Jiwoo looked around her bridge. Her 50,000 humans had become the most dangerous military force in the galaxy. 3 centuries of preparation had paid off beyond their wildest dreams. Commander, said a new voice. She turned to see Captain Hyojin, leader of their fighter squadrons. The woman's eyes were bright with excitement. The new fighters are ready for testing. Each one has a miniature version of our reality warping engines. They can phase between dimensions. Show me. The main screen displayed footage of the new fighters in action. They appeared and disappeared like ghosts, striking targets from impossible angles. When Imperial ships tried to fire back, the fighters simply shifted into parallel dimensions where the energy beams couldn't reach them. Beautiful, Jiwoo whispered. Engineer Bitna approached from the engine room. Commander, I've finished the upgrades to our main reality warping engines. We can now create localized fields where the laws of physics work differently. Explain. We can make areas of space where gravity points sideways, where energy moves backward in time, where matter exists in multiple places at once. Any ship caught in those fields will be helplessly confused. Jiwoo smiled for the first time in weeks. The Empire thinks they're gathering their forces for a final victory. They have no idea they're walking into a trap. She turned to address her crew. My friends, we began this journey seeking revenge for Earth. We wanted to punish those who destroyed our world. The bridge fell silent as everyone listened. But revenge is a small goal. We've discovered something larger. We have the power to reshape this galaxy, to free every enslaved species, to end tyranny forever. Cheers echoed through the ship. The Empire is gathering at Nexus for their final stand. Let them come. We'll show them that their age of conquest is over. A new age begins now, an age of freedom. Across the galaxy, the remaining Imperial fleets moved toward Nexus system. Admiral Sung Ho led the massive armada, confident that overwhelming numbers would finally defeat the human threat. He had no idea that the humans had spent 3 centuries learning how to turn strength into weakness, how to make large numbers meaningless, how to win battles before they even began. The final confrontation was coming, and only one side truly understood what they were fighting for.